And onwards.
So you think that something else did that, not the dragons?
Possibly.
I think it's all too much coincidence for the dragons being there and that happening so quickly.
Not just that, the other name is Silvery Moon.
Hmm.
Big snowstorm. The weights.
They seem to change the landscape around them, and the riders could be doing that too. We did see a death ritual in Silver Moon as well. They took the souls of all the people. They could have taken all life in the forest. The animals, like the life force of the forest is drained, basically, from what I could tell.
Well, if we go in
That
there,
thing-
we're going to have to go with
How
extra
is it?
supplies. And I can't carry that much, so somebody's going to have to carry mine for me.
That ain't an issue.
It is an issue. We almost starved the last time we went in there. We
You've never been on a dwarven forest, much less. That ain't starving.
Listen, I don't like the forest
Either
any
way.
more than you did, but we have to kill something, or no one's going to believe we're useful for anything.
So
Ar-
you kind of argue along for the next few days.
Mm.
At the third day, you hear like a roar far up the sky, far up the direction from where the sisters are. An earth-shattering, bone, squeaky hair, kind of bringing hair up, roar, echoing throughout, well, at least the area where you are in, and probably the wind travels far with this roar itself. As you hear this, you want to do anything?
I mean, the dwarf would jump up, but I assume that's way too far off, right? So
It sounded quite a ways off, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have a look, but
All right. As you kind of to take a look, it's hard to see from where it comes. It clearly comes from up the sisters, and since it's like hard to see just like straight up, you don't really have like a good angle. You kind of need to go deeper into the wood itself, which on the other hand is a problem because of the canopy itself of the trees.
yeah, I'd move outside of the little camp area and look up.
Again, like you would need to climb up in the trees if you want to see anything.
That is not my forte. I'll just make sure nothing. It doesn't seem like it's coming toward us from what I.
All right.
Just
Just from listening, you soon. Sorry, Lewis. Sorry.
I will try to climb. Very gingerly at first. I hate climbing, but I mean, if it's dragon related, it's work.
Okay. Athletics check, please. All right. So, since you don't have such an unwieldy armor, I don't know. Do you actually wear any armor right now?
What time of the day is it?
The mid-noon-ish?
Yes, then I would have it.
Okay. So since your armor is not as unwieldy as other armor might be, you start to climb. It's not super easy because you're not really like a tree climber, never were. But you're determined, and that counts for something as well. So it takes you a little bit, and when you get into the canopy itself, you hear like a second bone, a marrow-shattering roar echoing throughout the forest as you get to the top and are be able to see anything. And you don't see anything at first. Then quickly you see like a red dot fairly far away. It might be just like this big from where you're at, right? Just like an inch, maybe two. Just like dart out of the mountains that are yonder, the sisters themselves. And then you see like a huge explosion of ice hit this red creature in the air as the red creature kind of starts to dive. And as it starts to dive, you kind of lose it just because of the height of the plateau, because you're down here, the plateau is up there, and the mountains are here, right? That's just like, and then you just lose sight of it. A few more seconds pass. A few more seconds pass by, and you hear another roar. This almost sounds more like a cry, a screech. And silence.
That was exactly what I think you saw.
What did you see?
The dragon. It has begun. Maybe even finished.
That didn't seem so hard.
I'd like it to go down without a fight.
It's interesting. Maybe they're just that good.
I think you just heard it when it tried to run away. I saw it fly out, but then some ice came in. It fell. May not be dead yet.
Probably cast magic at it.
Magic we lack? Or do you have ice that can put the dragon that's flying away down?
No. No, I don't. I'm not that good. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
But that'd be the problem. You can't expect all dragons to kill over.
No.
Most of them have nasty plans. And the green are the schemiest of them all.
Yeah, with the rider too, they'll be extra devious.
Honestly, I'd prefer if we could get them separately.
Might be possible if we can infiltrate without them finding out we're there.
That'd be highly unlikely.
Yeah.
The dragon should know, but not necessarily the rider. The dragon can't always be with the rider, eh?
I'd assume not. But maybe it is. The rider must at least go somewhere, though, to report back. Or he might use magic for that. But that's my plan, at least. Go back to Waterdeep first and see if we can figure some stuff out. Then go after what seems to be the best case scenario for us for finding one of these dragons and killing him.
One more week of arguing, waiting, and getting impatient.
Another week goes by? Jesus, all right.
Passes by.
You know what? Screw it. Midway through this week, I'll start making my own boat. I don't expect the elves to do much. I know exactly as much about boat building as a dwarf should know, right?
A raft, then?
More like it.
I'll help him.
So you want to cut down
is
trees?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I ain't touching any trees. The blood's on your hands.
We're outside of the sisters, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. So small trees, a few of them shouldn't be too much of an issue. If not, just big branches.
Yeah.
These, at least the parts where you're in right now, these trees aren't, or this forest is intended to, in the sense of gardened. I don't know the English word for it. Foresting? Mm-hmm. Is it foresting? Is it that easy?
Yeah, basically, that makes sense.
In German, that's a different word. But anyways, are intended. So there are trees that kind of toppled over from maybe like a lightning bolt hitting it, or just like keeling over from, I don't know, termites or whatever, right?
Yeah, if we can find dead trees, that's preferable.
That's much better because I only have an index, not like I can.
Yeah.
Chop the big
And
ones.
the trees that are standing here, most of them are actually, this is like an old forest, so most of you're fairly deep in the inside, so most of the trees that kind of made it through most of the time are fairly old and fairly big, and kind of take all of the light again, right? Because where you are, the entire forest basically is dark, and not it's black, but like low light. So that it's hard for new trees to grow, right? So most of the trees you actually find would be big trees. And then when there's like a tree that fall over, maybe then there and near there might be like a little bit other different vegetation. But in general,
we'll go after toppled trees if we can.
It will take you a lot longer, and you would need to kind of move around and search for them. But you can, certainly.
We have a couple days, so.
I'm just saying that that's the difference, right? So, all right.
Fair
So who goes to search for the trees that are not growing anymore? Dead trees.
I'll go with Thorn if you want to go together.
All right.
I don't know if Golda wants to come.
Someone should stay at least to wait for
Malin.
Yeah, I'll just stay there.
How much wood do you want to gather?
Consider this isn't meant to be a huge boat, especially because the river isn't that large. 1, 2, 3. 3 at depends on the size, but 3 at most should be more than that. Depends on the size, right?
You want to build one or more than one? That's the question.
Oh, rafts. One.
One, yeah.
Okay, so one fairly large one. All right. Okay. So you start gathering ingredients and materials for that. Is there anything specific you want to do, or just bind some tree trunks together?
I could do better than that. Alternatively, if the trees are big enough, we could make canoes. 4 of them.
Yeah. Maybe build like a small wall on either side so that we don't fall off, or we could just strap ourselves to the raft. That will also work probably.
I think I'll go better than just strapping the trunks together. Depends on the size of the trees and what materials I get, right? But generally try to get a little bit into the wood and...
Or like notch it and then like lay them across each other like lattice, basically.
Yep.
Right, yeah, we'll do that.
All right. So you go out to search for trees. If I understood this correctly, you want to go for like bigger trees rather than more small ones?
Yeah.
So this will be a lot harder to transport. How do you want to transport this? Does Caius have any tricks?
Yeah, I'll use my telekinesis.
That helps. How long can you concentrate? 10 minutes?
Telekinesis is, I think it's 10 minutes. Yeah, let me check.
Might be 1:10 or 1 hour. Yeah. I think it's 10 minutes or 1 minute. I'm not sure, but because if it's 1 minute,
telekinesis. Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot better than carrying that thing, right? But
yeah. It is for up to 10 minutes.
Good. All right, and you can cast it what? 2 times?
Yeah.
2 times?
2 times.
I mean, you can kind of do the kind of switcheroo, right? So
it might be more than that actually now.
All right,
no,
so
2 times.
It's fine. You have time. So you kind of Thorin kind of moves around to stake out what you can find, and then send you there to kind of transport it towards the side. It's a riverside, basically, right?
It's up to anything up to 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, which is not that big of trees, but I mean that's basically kind of what you kind of eye out. So, yeah. So you start to gather tree trunks and kind of start to search for them. Takes you another week. Finish this project. Thorin,
Still no Malin.
please give me. Do you have an throwing axes, right?
Yes.
And you have your smithing tools too?
Yep.
How do you want to kind of fasten? How do you want to kind of bind these things together?
I assume there's enough vines or similar things in the forest. We could have Calda where she was back at waiting, just tie them, right? Knot them together and form ropes, right? And we
Sure.
could use a bit of our own rope for the parts that really matter.
All right, so you want to rope them together, bind them together with rope, and like mate one and the one that you have with you.
At best, I can make some indentation into the wood so it like fits a little better
It
together.
puzzles
right?
a little bit together.
Yes, and that keeps it. Maybe some tree sap, but I wouldn't know the recipe for that if anyone
Yeah,
does.
I mean that's not really not your thing. Maybe
Exactly.
Golda would know it. That might be, but I would say the other two of you probably more other expertise areas of expertise.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like this takes a lot of time, right? You need to find these things, and 10 minutes. Again, the problem is even if you take larger ones, also you're inside a forest and you kind of have these large things. You need to kind of, if you ever moved like
Yes.
like tables or what up the staircase, right? It's similar. You kind of need to kind of do the geography, but you can do it. You can do it with your telekinesis, which is basically the only thing that you can do. That's the way. That's because that's the only way how you can do it, actually, right? Because otherwise, they are not in the trees are just like all over the place, and they're not just like in. It's not a German forest, right? Not everything is in line.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, it takes some time, and then when you kind of get in the different trees, Gulaf does do the kind of the roping, which takes a lot of time to do, and then Thorin kind of prepares the wood itself. But yeah, it's a raft. It's big enough for the four of you. Takes about 1 week because mostly to find the stuff, to move it, but also because you're not really. That's not your expertise, right? This is like you need to figure this out as you go.
Yeah.
You have the tools,
I'm
you
more
have the
on
time.
metal or stone, not wood.
Right.
Wilson.
And you rather be careful when you don't want to break it to break apart when you're on the job. I would everybody of you like you to give me a skill check. What do you guys think is appropriate for it? Let's start with you, Lewis. So Thorin, what is Thorin doing?
For Thorin, considering that this is more of a new venture, even though he has Smith in masonry, probably in nature, to see how much well he knows of nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
To work the wood.
All right, I'll give you your tool proficiency with it, so because you're working with your tools there, right? It's not only knowledge; it's also working with it, right? And you kind of know your thing around not the material, but the tools at least. So is that
Right.
with your? Or that's
No,
plus,
that's
plus
without.
4 then, right?
That's without. Yes.
So plus 4. All right. Yeah. So you kind of it takes some time again to specifically also to cut things down, right? You need to kind of have the right size. You don't want to have like large gaps in between and all these kinds of things. So yeah, it takes some time, but you do your best, and it actually after kind of destroying one of the trees, which was too far gone, too rotted, exactly. Too rotted, it kind of fell apart. The other ones are better, and yeah, you work your way. It takes some time. It's a lot of muscle grease, but that's it. Good job. All right, guys, Sorry.
I would like to help with either history, if I could like knowledge wise, if I've read in books about rafts, stuff like that, or just general intelligence check. To figure out how to help him notch the things together so they won't break apart easily.
All right, I'll give you the intelligence check. I don't think reading
That's fair.
books about rafting.
No, yeah. I probably haven't. I just meant probably general intelligence is probably better.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
All right. So, Thorin, you always have this wise ass in the back of you trying to lecture you. He's not really doing much himself, though. He's just like, yeah, then you need to do this specific knot. And he tries to show it to you, and it just the noose just loosens and goes open. And kind of, he's more of a hindrance than really a help here. Really, just. He's actually an asshole right now. You don't really want to sit at one of his lectures, at least the ones that he does not know specifically the topic very well.
I can tell you with 100% certainty, you're not working your magic right now.
Yes. But I think you really should probably put this over here. I don't think that's...
Yeah, mate, you can't even tie a rope together. How can you expect it to bind a boat?
That's fair. It's fair. But, I mean... I saw this knot this one time, a sailor... That's, it's fine.
And that's the entire week.
Yeah.
That's the entire week!
Amazing.
And Gulda, how are you helping? What are you doing?
Well, since I was doing the rope, I guess maybe just a straight dex check for manual dexterity.
Absolutely.
She's just using her mage hand to help out to hold,
Third
has an extra
hand?
hand to hold the rope. Yeah, third hand to hold the rope.
Exactly. It's great. That's cool. It's like that's really.
She's doing a
helpful.
braid, and the hand is holding one piece, and she's like braiding the vines together to make it a stronger segment.
That's good. Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know how she feels about producing something. There's a certain fulfillment that someone can get by producing something.
I think for her, it's something to bleed out her frustration into, because she's annoyed that they're waiting for so long, and annoyed that they have no direction. So she's just. It's nice to have something to mindlessly work at.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do this, and you do a fine job. It takes some time. You need a lot of rope, right? So you basically use the bark and use the insides. Basically what you do is, if you have a tree, you have the bark on the outside, right? Usually that's where the bark is. But if you kind of get the bark off the tree, then you have the wetter part of the bark on the inside, right? Which is kind of the connecting tissue or whatever. And that's the stuff you can actually use for doing these kinds of things, because the strains are not as broken up as the outsides, and you can kind of move them as long as they're kind of a little bit wet still. So yeah, you do this again. It's a thankless job, but you let out your frustration there. And since Kyle's holding up Thorin anyways, you're kind of always 2 or 3 steps ahead of them. Good job. It's nice. Maybe a day before you finish this project, a day before your raft is finished on the side of the river, something strange happens when you wake up on the next morning, basically to do the finishing touches, maybe a few more hours. When you open your eyes and kind of take a look around, looks alien, looks different. colors in the trees were already pretty colorful, but the light that filters through now and is oversaturated almost. But the one thing that really stands apart is the color of the river that you're looking at. Where before you saw basically just your general river, right? This the color, the water that flows through it almost looks like Gatorade. This azure blue, this lighter colored blue, right? Almost starts to radiate back at you as you kind of look at it.
I feel like my force field has just been realized.
Oh, it even fought now?
They took us with them.
What?
They said they were leaving. They took the entire forest with them. I think we've been transported somewhere else.
That ain't how it works.
I am crazy, Thorin, but you have to be a little crazy to know magic. I don't know how it works,
with that.
But it's beautiful. Look at it. This does not exist in the real world.
The moss on the bark, on the side of the trees, almost looked like emeralds, like the color of emeralds instead of this dark moss. It almost gleams with energy.
It's interesting, but it's no mithril vein. If you've seen that, that's truly beautiful. Now, I'm sure they're doing their ritual and they're doing their magic and it's influencing the forest, but not like we went where they were going. It's not that easy.
I don't know. Silvestrial said that we just had to leave to get out. So, and since they just basically gave us a big old fuck you, we might as well just leave. Tired of waiting.
What do you suggest? You abandon Malin?
Well, it's been like what, a couple weeks now?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. If she was gonna come back, she'd have come back. I'm tired of waiting.
She might be staying. I mean, we could we could try to go up there at this point.
No, I'm not going up there. We're leaving.
Nah, that ain't Malin. If it were any other elf, I'd believe it, but that ain't Malin.
That green dragon that you guys were thinking was going to be in the Misty Forest, it's long gone by now. We ain't got time for this shit, to quote a meme.
I ain't got time to bleed. I'm gonna at least walk out and look toward where the sisters were and see if they're still there. See if we're still in the same place.
Absolutely same place. Although the cliff itself looks like, instead of rocks and mud making the cliff, it almost looks like trees. Not the big trunk trees, but the trees that have like look like they have multiple like trunks kind of woven together.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know which kind of type that is. Kind of, it looks like this, just like woven together, kind of building the side of the wall, I guess. But it looks very, very familiar. The waterfall is still there. The stairs are still there. But everything is different a bit, but the same.
Looking up in the sky, does the sky look different? The sun's still in the same place? Is there more than one sun? Is there a moon I'm seeing? Anything like that?
You know, interestingly enough, it's morning, but you just woke up. So it's like very like this golden hue, right? This, like, it's not the deep orange that is in the evening when the sun sets, but in the morning it's like these golden yellows. Dark sun is 2.
Hmm. You have the day sun and the night sun.
No, yeah. It's morning. And you kind of go back to work, I guess.
You guys should try to finish the raft, I guess, yeah.
All right. Yeah, you kind of continue your work. By the way, in the whole 2 weeks, you have not been disrupted by any elf coming your way.
That's also weird.
Shouldn't they be going toward the sisters to, well, maybe this is the calling. Maybe they'll start coming now.
Not if they just transported us right now, they could transport the whole forest. Then we've all gone.
That ain't how magic works.
Thorin, you don't know how to cast anything. How do you know how magic works?
You can cast a spell and make your eye blue.
Yeah, that's about the best spell I have.
He can make air stink, really rotten.
Yeah.
Can I make an Arcana check to even know if something like that is possible, like to transport in, like with certain like long rituals, if that would ever be a thing that's possible?
Sure, give me an Arcana check.
That's better.
Not to your knowledge.
Okay.
But they are different than you in many ways.
They've had thousands of years to perfect something like that. Yeah, I guess we keep working on the raft.
All right. So you start
Sorry, go ahead.
You start working on your raft, and you work, and you feel good. All right, you don't feel the aching of the muscles. I mean, you have constitution, right? You have endurance, but like working for 2 weeks or for a week on this raft for the entire day. At the end of the day, you know that you did like a lot of work, right? You feel exhausted. You don't. You feel good. This is good.
This ain't good. All right, I think the elves may have done something to change the place, but I am sure we're still in the normal. It's just the magic, all right? I can see it. My beard is tingling. But I'm sure if we leave, it'll be all right.
We might come out of it if we leave. That might be just simple as that. Might not be able to go back after we leave, but I guess Malin will have to come find us if she's up there still.
I imagine since she's an elf, she has no concept of time. It's probably feels like a couple days for her.
So yeah, you feel good, right? You're good, but you worked for a few hours at this point, and you're nearly done. Caius, when you kind of look up again, it's still morning.
This place is weird.
That dwarf works fast.
Still the same thing that when you looked up hours and hours ago. Still looks like morning.
Okay, I could see there's something to the forest, Thorin, but the sky hasn't changed.
You can't even see the sky.
I walked out of I looked up. I can see the sky.
I mean, you would also be able to see the sky if you're next to the river run, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there are no trees in the river.
That's right. We're building the raft up right by there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right. Malin will show up just any minute now. Any minute now.
I thought that a week ago.
And there's a skip and there's a dwarf skeleton standing there.
I'm thinking that once the raft is done, if she's not here.
I'm thinking you might not like what we find once we leave this forest. It might not be the world we left.
I mean, cities could have fallen by the time they finish fooling around. So
those cities might not exist where we are. This is like the right side up.
Silonel said all we had to do was leave the forest. So if we head down the river, I'm pretty sure we can get out of here.
She may have thought that before the 2 weeks, but I think it's still a good idea to get on this raft and at least start moving somewhere.
Well, is the raft done?
It's almost done.
Yeah, then we got to finish the raft. I don't want to ride a half-assed raft.
No, I just mean finish it and then go.
All right, last session, and then this is gonna be. I think that's gonna be it. I need to rehost again.
Okay.